Hello,
Yeah, screen.
everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. And our special guest today is Debbie Rivers. Sandy, would you like to do a little bit of the intro?
Oh, yes. So Debbie and I converse online, don't we, Debbie?
We do.
About all things relationship. I get so excited when I see Debbie post. And she now just calls me the washer woman. Don't you, Debbie?
I do, but I love washing too, so I get it.
So Debbie is all about relationships, and I just see so many alignments between LinkedIn, Debbie, and actually, relationship building, whether it's, finding that perfect match, husband, wife, whatever, or even finding that perfect match online to your business, right? Like looking for those, or attracting, I should say, rather than looking, attracting clients into your energy almost. Yeah. So Debbie, I said to Debbie, come on our webinar. Let's talk about all things relationships and how we can use that in LinkedIn. Yeah. So Debbie, do you want to give us a sort of a elevated pitch about what you do, so people who don't know you can explain a little?
So I'm a dating relationship coach, and I'm passionate about helping singles find love in a modern world where it seems to be harder and harder to make connections. And I absolutely love what I do. And a lot of people say it's hard to be single, and I don't believe that it does. And I believe you can attract exactly what you're looking for, a bit like the ideal client on LinkedIn.
Yeah. So we hear a lot of people say it's hard to attract clients, right? So I suppose that almost leads us into the first question, but that is a bit of a belief, right?
Definitely a belief, because whatever you believe, your brain finds evidence to back it up. So I have so many people go, good singles are hard to find, but they're literally everywhere. Yeah. And the same with customers are everywhere, but it's about how you go attracting them.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think that's the thing, I remember when I was pregnant many years ago, my son just turned 18, so my youngest, so it was a long time ago, but all of a sudden I started seeing all these pregnant people, right? And I never noticed them before. And it's the same thing when I bought my car, like I bought a VW Tiguan, a grey one, and all of a sudden before I just started noticing all these Tiguans. Now, I don't think that VW suddenly, burst into, so many cars, it was more the fact that I'm aware of it, right? Yes. So it's your awareness around that. Now, that would be the similar thing for finding people who are single, I would think, or clients.
Definitely. And I think so many people focus so much on there being no clients or there being no singles out there that's exactly what they see.
Mm-hmm. So run us through one of you, because I'm really interested, run us through an example of one of your clients and what you've been able to do for them.
Okay, so I've had clients that, I have a range of clients. So men and women tend to be quite different in that respect. But, I've had the woman that's come out of a long-term relationship to find love the second time around. And some of the fear that you're going to find, or you're not going to find anything, or you're going to be alone forever is huge. So working with them around that mindset so they don't choose the same thing again. Then there's the men who just don't know what to do in the Me Too era. They don't know, like, is it okay to approach a woman? Is it okay to give her a compliment? Will they get sued in the next 10 years?
All right, Debbie, so I just want to make one thing very, very clear. On LinkedIn, it is not okay. And it is not okay to say to people, so, I love your smile and blah, 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 blah. It is not okay. And I get those all the time, right? And I'm old, so I can only imagine what the, the 20-something gorgeous girls are getting online, you put yourself out there, and then you're putting yourself out there for your business to say, this is what I do. I'm a successful, facilitator, coach. And then someone comes in with, oh, you've got a lovely smile and I'd like to take you out, it's not exactly the response you're looking for, right?
It's not. And LinkedIn is not a dating site. And as much as there's quality singles everywhere, LinkedIn isn't the place. And men seem to have a strange way of thinking that if they're connected to you, they can ask you out. Well, you can't on LinkedIn. You just can't.
No.
And again, it's about building connections with people. It's not a dating site.
No. And so what's the difference between men and women in their approach to this? Because I think it might be a similar thing with LinkedIn too. Because I know one of the issues with women on LinkedIn is having a voice, right?
Yeah.
And being seen. So is that the same in the dating world? Or?
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely the same. Men tend to have more confidence in business. It doesn't necessarily go into dating, but maybe the difference with men is they feel like they have to list their benefits and sell themselves to a woman to be chosen, where it's often the opposite. It's all about connecting with someone rather than listing your benefits. Here's all the things that you should choose me for, rather than, if they connected with the person a bit like on LinkedIn, it works way better. And you're right, women don't have a voice and they feel like they're not heard or they're not seen or they're not visible.
Yeah.
But again, however you show up is if you're going to be seen, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, absolutely. I mean, as I put on my post yesterday, whether you play a little game or you play a big game, there's still people who decide that they want to behave in the way that judge you or the cruel. I mean, I can't imagine what some of, these really people who are massive online, not just LinkedIn, but what they must actually get back. And I just watched the news this morning, Debbie, about, Prince Harry and his wife, right? And how they're having mental illness issues. And somebody in my house, one of my sons said, oh, like, what would they have to worry about? And I went, oh, gee, you can't move without getting scrutinised.
I think it would be awful to be in their position. And yeah, people will always criticise you, no matter not everyone. There will be some people that will criticise you. I think it's about feeling okay about yourself to start with. Yeah. And when we don't like putting ourselves out there, like for you, if you don't like videos, you'll be more sensitive to being criticised by people in that space. And for someone that's come out of a long-term marriage or a relationship where, maybe the guy's cheated on their wife for a younger woman, putting themselves out there is really vulnerable because you could be rejected again.
But when the point is, though, Debbie, it's the same on LinkedIn. When you're vulnerable on LinkedIn, you get a good response. And I'm not saying be vulnerable because you want to get a good response on LinkedIn. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is when you put yourself out there and you show that you are human and who you are, right, and you are honest and you're authentic. And Dee, you had that post the other day about, fake it till you make it. It's not about faking it until you make it. It's about, using those social etiquettes to show who you are. I mean, I don't run into a bar and go, I want a husband, because every man there would be running away, right?
Run.
Go on. So I don't go on LinkedIn, I want clients, because everybody's going to do the same thing.
Well, it repels the people, doesn't it? It absolutely does.
Yeah, and I can remember those girls at school, Debbie, that were just desperate for a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Right? And the boys would go, they would walk miles, they could smell it, they could feel it.
That's true.
It's like a dog, knows when you have, it's that, unconsciously you're giving off that message. And
it's a vibe.
Posts on LinkedIn as well.
Yep, definitely a vibe. If you don't back yourself, with being single, you've got to back yourself and believe in yourself and be okay. Same with LinkedIn, because if you're kind of being unsure, there's difference between your post yesterday was really great because it was vulnerable and sense of humor, but you still backed yourself in a way, rather than the person that goes, well, no one's going to date me, no one likes me.
The poor bugger me.
Yeah, the victim type thing. It's totally different. So sometimes people get really confused by what it means to be vulnerable. Like they go, being vulnerable is an excuse to dump all my insecurities on you, which is scary.
Very.
And also too, I remember someone, and this is a long story, and I'll give you the very chunked up version. But somebody I knew actually making that decision, and actually this was a client making that decision that, you know what, it is okay to be by myself. And as soon as that happened, they all came flooding in. She said, oh my God, I literally made that decision. She said on a Sunday. And she said, I got 3 dates that week from people that just, because they were attracted to her confidence around, I'm okay by myself.
Yeah, true.
But you had to really believe it. It's not a matter of, you know, saying, you know, I'm okay by myself and just making that a mantra. You've got to really
feel it.
That and have a real intention behind it. And it's no different to, you know, being on a diet and sitting on the couch and eating a box of Tim Tams, watching the block, and then saying, oh, you know, I really wish I had lost that 10 kilos.
Yeah.
You know, but I can do it. Yeah, you can do it. And I'll start tomorrow. But right, like, it's a mismatch. You've got to really have that.
Yeah.
So Deb, I've got a question. There's a lot of business owners that are on LinkedIn that are single, are the business versions of single, where they are desperate for work. They are desperate for clients. You know, and this is, they're almost at make and break point where they're I'm just going to use that word, desperate. So how do they, on LinkedIn and in relationships, kind of quell that desperation to be able to attract people?
Okay. I think when it comes to being single, it's starting to be okay with yourself, and maybe it's a decision. In business, I think sometimes that's a bit different, because sometimes you need enough of I don't know, I was thinking this morning about the difference in relationships. People say, I don't need a relationship, I want one. Sometimes we need something enough to make it happen, because you don't always get what you want, you get what you need. So having some space and having, you know, a hunger to go out and get it, there is something within that, but it's your approach to how you approach it. So if on LinkedIn, all of a sudden I'm going, oh my God, I need to get some clients. If I started emailing everyone, bombarding them with, these are the services I offer, buy from me now, it's not going to work. So it's all in the approach. Whereas if they took some time connecting with people and had those, we buy from people we know, like, and trust connection points, they're going to get a different response. So I think having that urgency and that desire and a space to go create something is probably a really good driver, but it's different to being desperate. And sometimes how we act when we're desperate, it's kind of crazy behavior. We'll go try this and we'll go try that. We don't have any
no strategy to it, Debbie.
Strategy or plan.
Right? And that's the thing. You know, and there's no sort of seeing the person.
Yeah.
Those girls I was talking about at school, they wanted a boyfriend. They didn't want Gary. They wanted a boyfriend. Right? So you've got to meet Gary, know Gary, understand Gary, right? Maybe Gary's boyfriend material for you, but maybe he's not.
Maybe he's not, no one wants to feel like anyone will do they? They just don't.
Yeah, absolutely. So they were looking for the boyfriend. And you hear people, I hear women say that, oh, I want to get married. Really?
Yeah.
That's the end game. What happens after that? It's a long time.
It is a long time, and you have to have a strong connection. And I suppose with business is when we have that connection with someone, we'll absolutely buy from them.
Yep.
Because we know that they can give us what we need. And I know, say the approach with sales, when you go that car salesman that's just about selling to you, you don't buy from him at all, but you buy from the one who listens to what you want and can give it to you.
Yeah, it fulfills the need, right?
Yeah.
So the need isn't looking for a boyfriend or looking for clients. The need is, right, building relationships one relationship at a time, whether you're on LinkedIn or whether you're looking for. And I just like to say, Debbie, I'm not upgrading my husband. I'm quite.
Well, he's a lucky man.
I'll let him know that later. Thank you. I'll send him this video.
Well, I don't believe that the grass is greener on the other side. I believe the grass is greener where you water it. And a relationship, like you said, is a skill. It's not something that you have or are fixed. It's something that you continually have to, you relate to people. You don't have a fixed relationship. So, you know, marriages take consistency as well, work. Like,
and I think that is the same on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
People go, they message someone, hey, I've got this service. The person says, well, that's not for me. And then that's the end of that, right? Right.
I
and
hate those messages
all the time. And it's like, well, no, it's not actually. It's starting the conversation and seeing the person, right?
Yeah.
Not the end game, which is the business, or not the end game, which is the husband, boyfriend, whatever that you're
Yeah. Do you know the best approach I had on LinkedIn from someone is, instead of, I hate those messages where they connect and they try and sell you their services. The guy actually read my profile. He was a coach to relationship coaches. He read my profile and he actually sent me a voice message. And he really connected with where I lived, what I did. And I absolutely went on to do business with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was such a novel approach and he saw me.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he also took the time, Debbie, to find out about you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He actually went, and I had a coach this week who did exactly the opposite, who came to me and said, where do you live? And I went back and said, well, hang on a minute, you know, like if you checked out my profile, you'd know where I live, but I see we're both in Melbourne because I had checked out his, right? And he goes, why would I check out your program? And I just...
profile. Why would you check out the profile?
And I went back and went, why wouldn't you if you want to have a discussion with me?
Yeah. And see, that's the same in dating. People don't read the profiles, and you've got this profile and they go, tell me about yourself. And you're like, seriously?
I just
Just read and then maybe ask me a question.
So
now,
it is.
But I just want to say, Debbie, can you give us a little bit about the law of attraction? Because I love the law of attraction.
Oh, me too. I mean, look, we get... like attracts like, but sometimes like attracts like in the opposite, right? So if I like to eat cake, I might attract someone who bakes cake. So if I don't love and value myself, I might attract someone into my life that doesn't love and value me.
Yeah.
So the law of attraction works. We attract what we are, if that makes sense. So when it comes to business, we also attract what we believe. And our brain works like a scientist to give us what we believe. So if I believe I'm not going to attract any clients, I'm not.
Yeah.
If I believe I'm going to be single, no matter what I believe, that's going to be what happens.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's not woo-woo. It's science. Like our brain works like a scientist to find evidence of our belief.
Because, and all the beliefs, and this blew me away when I first understood this, and I would have been probably late 20s, are all just made up stories.
Yeah.
Right? It's all just stuff that we make up to justify, you know, and I hope I demonstrated that quite well, because I really don't like doing videos. But, you know, the whole thing is, oh, well, you know, I don't want to do this, and the whole reason of why. And then you really, when you actually chunk it down and you get to the you know, forget all the stories, right? It's about, you know, the actual root cause. Once you can be vulnerable and show up with that, right, then you can clear all the other stuff and work magically for you. And it almost sounds too easy, but it's really, but you do have to stop the excuses, you know, why I'm not putting stuff on LinkedIn, why I'm not, you know, interacting, all that stuff has got to go, because you'll get the results that you've put in. Business development is like that, and LinkedIn's no different to any other business development.
No, that's very true. And I mean, I suppose if you're really clear to start with what you're putting out, you're going to get it back. Yeah. And we're often not very clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's that strategy. That's what you were saying earlier on, Debbie, of there's people you know, you go out there and you're just crazy because you're like, we're going to do this, and there's no strategy or plan
And the
to
other problem with that
focus
is
your actions.
the fact that if you're doing 17 different things, that's why I basically just do LinkedIn. But if you're doing 17 different things, right, you're splitting your results as well.
Yeah.
So you're better off doing one thing, doing it properly, look at your return on investment, have a strategy around it, right, and then measure it. But what most people do is they don't do any of that. They just go, oh, I've got to do it, I'm so busy. And then they put all the energy in, right, and they get low results, and then they say, see, I told you it
didn't work.
Yeah. So Debbie and Sandy, you are in agreement that whether it's dating, finding your perfect match in personal life and in business, you have to start with a strategy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
And goals.
Because,
and goals. Yep.
You know, you're not measuring anything. Because you know what? You could say, I want to use LinkedIn to become an influencer, or you might say, I want to find LinkedIn to find a job. It's going to be a completely different strategy.
True.
Right?
True.
And you've got to measure it, and you've got to set your milestones, and you've got to be honest with yourself. But the thing is, a lot of people don't want to do that part because but that's all just rubbish. I'll just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But how are you going to measure it? And that's the thing. And I think this is humans across the board, Debbie. We're hard on ourselves, right?
We are way too hard on ourselves. But I mean, I think that maybe we like to have an excuse, and when we don't do anything, you know, if I was, as a single person, if I was brave and courageous and I took the action and I didn't get the results, then I'm faced with that rejection. Whereas if I don't do anything, I can go, oh, well, I'm not really trying, so it's okay. So I'm not having to deal with not being successful. Sometimes we're scared of being successful, or we're scared that it's not going to work. And if we don't do anything, then we've got a nice excuse for why we're safe. Yeah. But, you know, safe doesn't get us anywhere.
Yeah. No, and we're in our comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing good is in the comfort zone. And you kind of go, you have to, I don't know, when it comes to love, it really frustrates me because I couldn't imagine saying, oh, I'm going to get a job. I'm just going to leave it to chance. I'm going to get fit. It's just going to happen by chance when I least expect it. Well, the chances are it's not going to freaking happen unless you do something and have a plan and a strategy and a belief system.
Don't you? Action, consistency, same stuff as what you need to do, you know, in your business as well.
And it may not happen today, because with business, I don't know if you feel this way. Sometimes I feel like I'm doing all this stuff and I'm being very consistent and I don't get the results I want. Dating feels just the same, but all of a sudden, one day it just comes together when you're doing that and building the relationships that you need to.
Well, the thing is, Debbie, business and relationships are the same like that.
Yeah.
The next 12 months, right?
Yeah.
Actually, what results you're getting today on LinkedIn or in business development or sales, whatever it is equal to what you were doing 12 months ago. So go back and have a look 12 months ago what you were doing, and you might be like, oh, I wasn't even in my business, or I was working a big contract at the time, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So 12 months ago, so what you've got coming in now is equal to that. And I think it's even longer than that now. It could be even 12, 18 months.
Yeah.
But talking of time, we're running out of time because I promised that will be 15 minutes and I think we're about 23 now. But I could talk to you all day about it, Debbie. I think it's really interesting. And I think there's so much going on around that whole, you know, show up, be who you are, be authentic, right? And say what you want, right?
Yes.
So, you know, and build one relationship at a time. You never know where it's going to go.
True. And when you do that, you stand out for the right reasons, don't you? Because if you're trying to be like everyone else, you're not going to stand out. If you're unique, like your video yesterday was wonderful. Your laundry fetish is wonderful.
Oh, down in that. I told you, I'm in the laundry room at the supermarket. Adult boys. I'm making dessert now for people.
I love that though.
Awesome. Right, lovely to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
So much. And people who couldn't, we'll be sending out all the videos to people who couldn't make it, but we have quite a few people on the call. So thank you for, or webinar, thank you for being here today. Dee, anything else you want to say, need to say, have to say?
Nope, I'm good.
Dee's had a bit of success herself this week and showing some vulnerable stuff around posting.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And yeah, just last week, I got 3 leads off LinkedIn. So
Wow.
it is about just putting yourself out there. But I'm the same. I have a block as well, just FYI. But it's about putting yourself out there. And I mean, leads doesn't equal sales, but they are opportunities to become sales. So if I wasn't doing this, I wouldn't even be having a discussion to make a sale, to have that opportunity.
And I think that's very important to explain to people about LinkedIn, right? It's the start of the conversation, people. It's not about, right, hi, you've connected with me, so here's my stuff, buy it.
Yes. I do XYZ and I want to sell it to you. Yeah, it's not about that.
But we've got to go, and we'll be back at the same time next week. And Kim, I can't remember what we're doing next
Topic.
week. Do you remember the topic?
Oh, and you're on mute.
Taking action on LinkedIn.
Taking action on LinkedIn. Yay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for attending.
See you next week.
See you later.
Bye.
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 Bye.